Everyone always talks about creating accountability, so we were starting to think about how do you really create a real accountability campaign with legislators.
I truly believe that for the first time in a very, very long time in the history of California, policy issues now really matter, okay? Not just labels.
So we created a scorecard at UFCW for the first time. We scored members across the spectrum on UFCW priority bills. One bill we tried was AB 880, which was a bill that would have taxed large employers, 500 more employees that had anyone on Medi-Cal. It was a 2/3 vote bill. It died in the Assembly. 3 Democrats voted against the bill. One of those 3 Democrats was Cheryl Brown.
One critical bill was worker retention, and Cheryl Brown did not vote with us on that. We needed to have this worker retention bill to have protections for our workers.
This legislative bill that was in the House, SB 350, it was this landmark climate change bill, and one of the big pieces of that was a 50% reduction in petroleum use. That's where Cheryl Brown was holding out.
She comes and represents communities that have very high pollution levels and extreme health problems. 47% asthma rate with children in the local elementary school. So it's outrageous that she wasn't standing up and supporting that bill wholeheartedly.
We started canvassing communities in San Bernardino, in Colton, in Fontana. We started canvassing her neighbors, actually, letting them know, hey, there's this landmark bill and your neighbor / representative is staying quiet.
And along the way, she lost her way. She really got co-opted by the big oil interests.
So we went down there, we met with the environmental justice advocates, and it really felt like maybe we had the resources and the people power to really do a full field campaign that would be required to challenge a sitting assembly member.
We felt, as labor, with the strong leadership from Rick Brewer and 1167, who were totally in, along with the community-based organizations and environmental groups, we felt we had a pretty solid coalition.
At UFCW, we have no fear going against any politician that's not backing union members that work in our union stores at a local 1167.
They have one of the worst air qualities in the nation. Also, it was good jobs, health care, and affordable housing. Those issues really affected people deeply.
We found out about Eloise Reyes, and she had been around for a long time within the Inland Empire, and she had a compelling story and was someone that really wanted to represent the community.
So I started to do my research on the voting record. There were votes taken regarding our workers. There were votes taken that had to do with our environment. These are all important issues for our community.
Eloise Reyes embodied what was good about the community, embodied proudness.
I finally decided, yes, I would take this on. I'm glad that I did. The issues are too important for our community, and they need somebody who's going to fight for them.
In having discussions with Jim Araby, with UFCW and the Western States group, we decided this would be a good coalition.
It really started as a grassroots movement, and we were able to help bring the resources in to give them more of a voice, which was going to be required when you're going up against Chevron and their millions.
So our local Sierra Club, young workers, and just the community members were all walking precincts for her. We all came together to make sure Eloise was elected.
To hear that the UFCW was about to really get into this fight was just amazing, because if you know about the UFCW and their political operations, it's second to none.
UFCW is one of those that when I asked for their endorsement, they gave it to me and pledged to help me through it.
We put everything into this race, from money to all our staff, all our reps, our organizers, our front office staff came out and helped.
What we did in the primary was to really do a field campaign. Our role was very clear. We were the local people. We were the residents.
We were turning out folks every weekend to knock on doors, to make phone calls, to put door hangers.
We did canvassing, a lot of weekends, walking the different precincts, the neighborhoods. We have a couple thousand members in the district.
We also targeted members through social media. So we ran targeted ads to both unregistered members and those who are registered to increase their likelihood of voting. We had to make sure that they were engaged and that they understood what was at stake.
We canvassed for Eloise Reyes. We phone bank for Eloise.
Mrs. Reyes has promised us that she'll fight for the people, for our wages, our retirement. She knows how important our position is as caregivers and nurses.
I work 8-9 hours a day. So after work, I just was there, phone banking, telling people, you know, we need your vote. We need her to win.
When Big Oil, came in and spent millions of dollars on behalf of what we'd be able to call Chevron Cheryl, voters weren't convinced because they saw who Eloise was and who was behind her.
And they don't want to hear, well, either you get clean air or you get good jobs. We deserve both.
We could have not done this without the members. UFCW Local 1167, UFCW 1428, the other Southern California locals, UFCW 770, UFCW 324, they sent members out, on the weekends to walk and knock doors.
When you actually then win, it amplifies a sense of pride among the organization, its leadership, and its members.
We knew this race was Democrat versus Democrat, but we also knew we stood for our values and we knew we stood for bettering our communities.
If you have the right coalition that represents the variety of interests in our movement, in the progressive movement, and you work together and you're consistent on a message and you have the right candidate that espouses the values that you believe voters want to see, and you all work together and drive a program, you can win more than you lose.
You always know that your power doesn't come with money, because we never can outspend them. It comes with numbers.
The ripple effect that we're going to see from this is, in my prediction, going to be huge. This means this is doable everywhere.
That was like a loud Liberty Bell in the state capitol. For those who are proud liberals and proud progressives, it was like about time.
And it's not about being a Democrat. It's not about being an elected official. It's not about appeasing, the institutional Democratic Party or its players. It's about actually living the values in which you state your existence is for.
She's not going to be one who is swayed by the corporate interests in Sacramento. So I think day one, there's going to be a different quality of representation in this district.
I'm not going there to sit and just have people share accolades about me because I've won this election. I'm there to work.
Eloise will go up to Sacramento and be a really effective advocate, and that people feel empowered, that they do have power, that it does matter.
I think if we listen to what happened nationally and the direction that we need to go, I think it's a wake-up call to how we need to move forward if we want to save this country.
I think voters will make the right choice if we give them the right information. And, the democratic experiment continues to work.